The production of Ridley Scott's Alien, 1979, is often lauded for its groundbreaking visual effects, terrifying creature design, and tense atmosphere. However, one aspect of the film that stirred significant behind-the-scenes controversy was its musical score. This dispute led to a creative fallout between director Ridley Scott and legendary composer Jerry Goldsmith. The conflict between these two titans of cinema resulted in not one, but two strikingly different soundtracks for the film. Understanding the root of this dispute requires delving into Goldsmith's established methods for scoring films, Scott's expectations, and the broader implications this had for film music moving forward. Jerry Goldsmith was known for his meticulous approach to film scoring. Unlike many composers, Goldsmith sought to create music that not only accompanied the visuals, but also deepened the narrative and psychological aspects of the film. His use of unconventional instruments, innovative orchestration, and thematic development made him one of Hollywood's most respected composers. Goldsmith once said, "My job is to help tell the story. The music must fit the picture like a glove and help the audience understand what's happening emotionally on the screen." For Alien, Goldsmith envisioned a score that would enhance the film's eerie atmosphere while maintaining an emotional core. He aimed to balance the terror and isolation of space with moments of lyrical beauty, believing that the contrast would heighten the overall tension. His initial compositions featured haunting melodies and complex orchestration, employing a mix of traditional symphonic elements and avant-garde techniques, including using the serpent, a rare wind instrument, and echoplex for eerie effects. Ridley Scott, however, had a different vision for the film's music. Scott believed that the score should primarily serve the horror elements of the film, emphasizing dissonance, abstraction, and minimalism over the melodic and thematic approaches that Goldsmith favored. As the director, Scott wanted the music to amplify the sense of dread and alienation without distracting the audience from the film's visual impact. This difference in vision set the stage for the conflict. Scott's dissatisfaction with Goldsmith's original score led to significant changes. According to reports, Scott felt that Goldsmith's music was too lush and romantic for the cold, sterile environment of the Nostromo. Scott ultimately decided to replace much of Goldsmith's work with previously composed material from the composer's earlier works, as well as classical pieces like Howard Hanson's Symphony No. 2, Romantic. This decision left Goldsmith feeling frustrated and undermined. Reflecting on the experience, Goldsmith remarked, "I've never been so unhappy with a score in my life. If the director doesn't like what you've done, you haven't any choice but to go along with him. It's his movie." The creative difference between Scott and Goldsmith can be attributed to their contrasting approaches to filmmaking and storytelling. For Goldsmith, music was an integral narrative tool, capable of adding depth and dimension to the story. He approached Alien as a complex emotional journey and wanted the score to reflect that. Ridley Scott, on the other hand, was focused on creating an immersive, visceral experience. He viewed the music as another tool in his arsenal for evoking fear and tension, rather than a means of exploring the film's emotional landscape. Moreover, Scott's background in advertising, where brevity and impact are paramount, likely influenced his preference for a more stripped-down, immediate musical approach. Goldsmith, as a veteran of the classical Hollywood tradition, was more inclined towards thematic development and intricate orchestration. These differing philosophies inevitably clashed, resulting in the two vastly different soundtracks that exist within Alien. The fallout between Scott and Goldsmith is emblematic of a broader trend in Hollywood, where directors increasingly demand more control over the musical aspects of their films. This trend can be seen in the work of contemporary composers like Hans Zimmer, whose soundtracks have come to dominate modern cinema. Zimmer's scores are often described as manufactured and formulaic, relying heavily on repetitive motifs, electronic textures, and percussive rhythms. While Zimmer's work is undeniably effective in many cases, it often lacks the originality and emotional depth that composers like Goldsmith brought to their projects. Critics have noted that Zimmer's approach has led to a homogenization of film music, where scores begin to sound interchangeable across different films. One critic aptly described Zimmer's music as a factory manufacturing soundtracks. The rise of Zimmer's style, which favours mood and atmosphere over melody and thematic development, marks a significant shift from the days when composers like Goldsmith crafted scores that were as memorable and distinct as the films themselves. The creative fallout between Ridley Scott and Jerry Goldsmith during the production of Alien highlights the delicate balance between a director's vision and a composer's artistry. While Scott's decision to alter Goldsmith's score may have served his vision for the film, it deprived audiences of experiencing the full range of Goldsmith's musical genius. This conflict also foreshadowed the direction that film scoring would take in the decades to come, with composers like Hans Zimmer rising to prominence by prioritizing atmosphere over originality. As a result, modern soundtracks often lack the unique, memorable qualities that once defined the work of composers like Jerry Goldsmith.